Welcome back to my series about some of the best adventures that can be had in North Wales. If you're just joining me, I've already explored the stunning Bodnant Gardens with its swathes of colour and gushing streams. I've hit the hiking trails starting with the National Trust's gentle circular amble, hiked through abandoned quarries, conquered both Glyde of Vac and Glyde of Vor in an epic all-day hike, and spent the day road tripping around Anglesey to explore some of its coastal as well as inland heritage, and made it to Llanthwyn's Lighthouse for the golden hour. In today's episode, we'll be hiking Snowdon using the Rhyd Ddu Path, the least used trail out of the 6, and when combined with taking advantage of the turn in weather, we're hoping that we'll experience a bit more solitude. If during the video you find yourself enjoying it, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel so that you can join me in my North Wales adventures. This morning I've come to Rhyd Ddu, and that is because I'm going to be hiking up Snowdon. The Welsh Government on their website have said that the Rhyd Ddu Path is the quietest out of the 6, which is a huge bonus to me. And then it went on to say that it has really beautiful sweeping mountain views. We weren't too sure what the parking situation was going to be like, because if 2020 was anything to go by, Snowdon had a pretty bad rep for people just parking very inconsiderately because of the huge numbers of people who were coming here. So we've arrived at about 7:45 in the morning, and the car park is almost empty with only a couple of other cars here so far. The weather isn't looking great, but the forecast does say that it's supposed to brighten up around about midday, so we're hoping that by the time we get up to the top it might have brightened up a little bit and offer us some really beautiful views. Barely made a dent on this trail, but already I am feeling so much like we've transported ourselves back to 2020 to the summer when we were in Scotland, in part because the weather is very much the same as what almost all of our hikes were like when we were hiking in Scotland, but also just this landscape as well. I don't know if it is necessarily the landscape when combined with the weather. It's chilly, and it really doesn't feel like any of the other days that we've been hiking in Snowdonia National Park this week. Very close to getting into cloud territory, so there's a potential that the compass that we've brought up to Wales with us may actually start to come in useful, because I think that the visibility is going to become quite difficult from here on out. obvious where we're supposed to be going. Thrown in the fact that we've got an OS map, we've got a compass, I'm still quite confident that we're fine to keep on going up. Stopping for a quick snack on the way up, and whilst I would like to say that we're stopping here to admire the view, sadly this is pretty much what our view is like. That's okay, if the weather forecast is anything to go by, hopefully the cloud will start to break up. I don't ever trust the British weather forecast. We've just passed the point where the Rhyd Ddu Path that we're walking up joins up with the Watkins path, and I know from my research that at that point it's very, very steep for the last scrambly climb to the summit, so I think we're really close now. So I'm now just standing in a queue waiting to reach the summit of Snowdon Mountain, but I'm pleased that we've come in 2021 because chances are in 2022 at this pace there's probably going to be a ticketing system where you get a number to prevent these sorts of queues. And the moment we've been waiting for, touching at the top of the summit. After having stood in the queue to reach the real top of Snowdon, we've now just come a little way down to crouch by a wall, try and shelter ourselves from some of the cloudy mist and just refuel a little bit. I've just got a little bit of leftover pizza from an evening meal that I didn't quite finish the other day, as well as a sandwich. I have to say, in comparison to some of the other hikes that we've done, this one is just a bit of a nasty shock when we got to the top, because the Rhyd Ddu Path has been beautifully quiet. There's been the odd party that's passed us, but really not busy at all. And then as soon as we got up to the top, where obviously the 5 other paths have also converged up here, it's so crowded, so busy. Not at all what I was expecting, and yeah, just a bit of a shame really. It's not really what you expect from the top of a mountain. side to help get the blood pumping, and I think as well the lower down we go, the warmer it should hopefully get.
Whilst the hike back down didn't require as much cardio, our bodies felt the gust of wind and the chills so much more. We tried to keep pace as we descended, and bit by bit the cloud began to thin out, and before we knew it, we'd made it back into the sunshine.
Just tried to take it easy getting off of Snowdon, because last summer when I did Ben Nevis I came down it far too fast and really hurt my knees. I think in my old age I'm going to come to regret that hike. Genuinely I was really shocked up at the top at just how many people there were. I think because we'd started quite early. It was a pretty bad weather morning. It has cleared up now, as you can probably see the sun is starting to shine. So I assume that that was probably going to put people off. It's also a Thursday. I appreciate it is Thursday during school holidays, but for me as a teacher, I can't ever get around that. I have to go at least at that point of peak times, but it's not a weekend and it's not the bank holiday Monday. Throw in the fact that the train isn't operating, to still see that queue up at the top, it was crazy. I dread to think what it might be like in the height of summer on a bank holiday weekend when the train is running. I did personally prefer the glidders a few days ago. As far as going up a mountain up to a peak goes, I would personally recommend that if you only had time to do one or the other, I would personally recommend the glidders any day over Snowdon from a personal point of view. The last part, or the first part of the Rhyd Ddu Path, depending on how you're looking at it, is actually made up of the old quarry track. Quarrying and farming were what made up most of the money that came into this area, and obviously the quarry is no longer used, which is why we're able to walk along it today in order to get from the car park up the mountain and then back down again. Wow, what a surprise to hike all the way back to.